Giving my fresh perspective on the Bible, I am reading Exodus 14 today. I am out here in the mountains. It's actually quite a perfect, gorgeous day. The clouds are surrounding me, and it's a gorgeous shot. I know that much. Anyways, I'm going to be reading Exodus 14. This is my first time for anybody who has never read the Bible. You get a very fresh perspective on it from me, and anyone who has read the Bible and knows, you get somebody as an outsider like me who's just reading it for the first time and gives their thoughts. So, previously in Exodus 13, it said the dedication of the firstborn. So apparently it seemed like more instructions. I'm not actually sure about when Passover is supposed to take place. It looks like maybe the first spring in April, I'm kind of guessing. And the firstborn sons are supposed to be sacrificed, but also brought back. And then Moses, he has actually taken Joseph's bones out of Egypt now. And I think that's a really big kind of narrative or something that's happening in history based on it, because the Egyptians previously embalmed Joseph's bones. And so that means that they held him in high regard. And even if they didn't like him, who knows? But now Moses is taking his bones back. And to me, that just seems like something that's going to lead to problems later on. But what do I know? Now, let's get into it here. Genesis, or where are we at? Exodus. Exodus 14. Then the Lord gave these instructions to Moses. More instructions. You know, it seems like Exodus is just going to be all about Moses. I'm assuming that's what it is, because it seems to never quite stop. Kind of going and going and going here. All right. So then the Lord gave these instructions to Moses. Order the Israelites to turn back and camp by I don't know how to say this. Camp by, the place is called Pihahiroth. I don't know. Between Migdol and the sea. Camp there along the shore. Along the Bazephon. I'm going to mess up names all the time. So if you've never read the Bible, believe me, the names are very, very difficult to know. Then Pharaoh will think the Israelites are confused. They are trapped in the wilderness, and once again I will harden the Pharaoh's heart, and he will chase after you. I have planned this in order to display my glory through Pharaoh and his whole army. After this, the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. So the Israelites camped there as they were told. So, again, the Lord is telling Moses that he's going to harden the Pharaoh's heart. It feels like the Pharaoh and his armies, they never get a break. The Lord has been telling Moses this entire time, he's going to harden the Pharaoh's heart. He's going to harden the Pharaoh's heart. This is like, I want to say like the 5th or 6th time he said it. And finally, the Pharaoh just said, fine, go, everyone go. And now we're back to this thing where I have planned this in order to display my glory through Pharaoh and his whole army. After this, the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. I feel like they already did that with the previous plague. I mean, the death of the Egypt's firstborn, or maybe since Pharaoh's firstborn was killed, maybe that is why he's now pursuing them. That could be a reason why. I mean, there's a lot that I think is lost in translation, as well as lost in the actual storyline of what we need to know when reading the Bible. And that's just my own thought. I mean, what do I know? Okay, so the Egyptians pursue Israel. When the word reached the king of Egypt that the Israelites had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds. What have we done, letting all those Israelite slaves get away? They asked. So Pharaoh harnessed his chariot and called upon the troops. He took with him 600 of Egypt's best chariots, along with the rest of the chariots of Egypt, each with its commander. The Lord hardened the Pharaoh's heart, the king with fists raised in defiance. The Egyptians chased after them with all the forces in Pharaoh's army, in his horses and chariots, his charioteers, and his troops. The Egyptians caught up with the people of Israel as they were camped beside the shore near Pihahiroth, that place again, across from Bazephon. Whew. So now you got Egypt, the Pharaoh, his commanders, all of these chariots and the troops just going straight towards these Israelites, just going after to get them. That would be quite a sight, actually. It's war. He's preparing for war. As Pharaoh approached, the people of Israel looked up and panicked, and they saw the Egyptians overtaking them. Yeah. you're like, Lord, you're telling us to be safe here, and we look up and we just see this. It's like turning around and just seeing this massive amount of horses and Egyptian people, just warriors coming down to get you. I imagine that for a second. I mean, you have to, if you're the Israelites, you have to, of course you're going to panic. And maybe that's part of the reasoning for the way this is written, because he needs to show the Israelites that he is, the Lord is saying, look, you have to believe me. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. So believe me, have faith, regardless of what you see coming at you. Regardless of what you see coming at you, just have enough faith in me, and I will protect you. Maybe that's what that little spot is about to be. As Pharaoh approached, the people of Israel looked up and panicked when they saw the Egyptians overtaking them. They cried out to the Lord, and they said to Moses, "Why did you bring us out here to die in the wilderness? Weren't there enough graves for us in Egypt? What have you done to us? Why did you make us leave? Didn't we tell you this would happen while we were still in Egypt? We said, leave us alone. Let us be slaves to the Egyptians. It's better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness." It's very understandable to be that scared and to see what's going on, because they're about to die, and no one wants to die, especially if they had a life. Even as a slave, they still had a life, and they were alive. But man, that is tough, because I think this is all about having the faith in. It seems to be this spot seems to be all about this part of the chapter seems to be all about having that faith in God, having the belief in Moses. You got this far with him, and I think if they have followed Moses this long, and they have believed at this point that Moses was talking with God, they need to continue to believe in him. I think that's what we're trying to learn from this. But Moses told the people, "Don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today will never be seen again. The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm." I think that's what we're supposed to really learn from there, is that if you have complete and utter faith in the Lord, and you know that you've gotten this far with him, and you have been following the one person who you know has been talking with the Lord, the demonstrations have happened, and you've gotten this far, that I think no matter what you see coming at you, you need to just stay there, stay calm, and know that the Lord is going to do what he should to protect you. Now keep in mind, I'm not even a Christian or Catholic, and that's what I can read throughout this. So it should be pretty easy for somebody else. I could have the whole wrong interpretation, but that is what I am reading into this. Next section, escape through the Red Sea. Oh, we've seen this before. This is the Red Sea is definitely well known in all the movies and history. I mean, even I know that. We've got the Red Sea gets parted, and it's just like there's a whole big thing that goes on here. All right, escape through the Red Sea. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me?" The Lord's like, "Dude, I got you this far. What are you crying for, man? Like, come on." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to get moving. Pick up your staff and raise your hand over the sea. Divide the water so the Israelites can walk through the middle of the sea on dry ground. Whew. And I will harden the hearts of Egyptians, and I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they will charge in after the Israelites. My great glory will be displayed through Pharaoh and his troops, his chariots and his charioteers. When my glory is displayed through them, all Egypt will see my glory and know that I am the Lord." Oh, this is when, so basically he's asking Moses, pick up your staff and raise your hand over the sea. Divide the water so the Israelites can walk through. So that way he can just basically close up the sea. That's what's going to end up happening. I'm all sure of it, right? Then the angel of God, who had been leading the people of Israel, moved to the rear of the camp. The pillar of cloud also moved from the front and stood behind them. The cloud settled between the Egyptian and the Israelite camps. As darkness fell, the cloud turned into fire, lighting up the night. But the Egyptians and Israelites did not approach each other all night. Then Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the Lord opened up a path through the water with a strong east wind. The wind blew all that night, turning the seabed into dry land. So the people of Israel walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground, with walls of water on each side. I mean, I know I've seen like the movies like that, but still just really trying to imagine. Now you've even got more faith in Moses and the God at this point, because you're like, I've got one option. I either walk through this wall of water that has just been parted, or, you know, I get probably killed by the Egyptians. One or the other. I think I'd go with the water as well. Would you? Then Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the Lord opened up a path through the water with a strong east wind. The wind blew all night, turning the seabed into dry land. So the people of Israel walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground, with walls of water on each side. Oh, that's actually an interesting little catch there, because with the water with a strong east wind, so the wind blew all night, turning the seabed into dry land, because otherwise the seabed would be just a muddy mess. So that's an interesting little catch there, if you didn't realize it. Then the Egyptians, all of Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and charioteers, chased them into the middle of the sea. But just before dawn, the Lord looked down on the Egyptian army from the pillar of fire and cloud, and he threw their forces into total confusion. He twisted their chariot wheels, making their chariots difficult to drive. Let's get out of here, away from the Israelites, the Egyptians shouted. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt. When all the Israelites had reached the other side, the Lord said to Moses, raise your hand over the sea again, then the waters will rush back and cover the Egyptians and their chariots and charioteers. So as the sun began to rise, Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the water rushed back into its usual place. The Egyptians tried to escape, but the Lord swept them into the sea. Then the waters returned and covered all the chariots and charioteers. Then the entire army of Pharaoh and all the Egyptians who had chased the Israelites into the sea, not a single one survived. Dang. So then the waters returned and covered all the chariots and charioteers. The entire army of Pharaoh, of all the Egyptians who had chased the Israelites into the sea, not a single one survived, and everyone was killed. Wow. But the people of Israel had walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground. As the water stood up like a wall on both sides, that is how the Lord rescued Israel from the hand of the Egyptians that day. And the Israelites saw the bodies of the Egyptians washed up on the seashore. When the people of Israel saw the mighty power that the Lord had unleashed against the Egyptians, they were filled with awe before him. They put their faith in the Lord and in his servant Moses. That is the end of Exodus 14. And to see some sort of power like that, I mean, you've got Moses at this entire time you've been walking with him. You've seen what Moses has been talking with the Lord about. You've seen that he sets these plagues up. But at this point, like if he opens up the sea and you see walls of water on both sides of you, at that point you have to believe. I would believe. Oops. I would believe at that point. If you see just walls of water coming up, I mean, that's just incredible power of something. And then to end up on the other side, it closes up, kills the people that had enslaved you. That is pretty powerful.